Hello everybody, welcome back to another tier list video. So this is going to be the defenders today. I did the attacker one a couple days ago now. I was planning on uploading this yesterday, didn't happen, but I also did upload the stream VOD from the other day I did on Twitch. If you're not following there, by the way, I've been streaming a lot more recently. Like this last week I've done like 4 streams, so definitely make sure to follow there, have the noties on, and you'll be able to do 1v1s against me, viewer games maybe, just stuff like that. I play with you guys over there, so twitch.tv/illumasoka. But yeah, if you did miss that, I uploaded the full VOD for the viewer 1v1s I did, so got a few hours of games there. Anyways, for this tier list video, I'll be starting at SoloQ here and going all the way through the list. New ops like Scopos, the new recruit Sentry on defense, and I've got an S through F tier. Now I know for the attack one, I didn't even put anybody in the F tier because I think everybody's pretty, at least decent. They have a place where you can actually like pick them and make them work. I don't know how the defenders are going to play out. We'll see if anybody goes in the F. Maybe I'll be more strict in this one. But yeah, I feel like it was a good spread. Pretty balanced in the last one. So remember, this is going to be just for SoloQ alone. Not like in general. So maybe there's going to be like one op that's like good for SoloQ, not good for like usual play if you have a team. And maybe there's an op that's worse if you're SoloQ that's way better with the team. So just an FYI there. And my personal bias will be in this tier list, like what works for me in my SoloQ videos I do on the channel. I feel like I have a great understanding of how that works. But for Smoke, I think Smoke in SoloQ is actually really good. I'm going to put him in A tier. He can stall at a time, good guns, if he can control the SMG-11, which I mean, most people can these days. I like the compensator on it too, so you can really spray it still. And then barbed wire is great for SoloQ. You can play off that with a shotgun, the SMG. Again, just so much time waste. You can set up everything you want, like head holes, foot holes, rotates, you know. So I think Smoke's like an A tier, maybe even S by the end. We'll see. Again, everything's fluid. We can change things as we go. Change things, I should say. Mute probably up there in the same kind of range. I want to put Mute S tier, but again, it's personal bias for me in SoloQ, and I don't really play Mute that much. But I know he's like amazing. You can play him every round. I think the only thing he has like really over Smoke, he is a little slower, of course, but more armored to make up for it. But he does have the Mute jammers to stall even more time probably than the Smoke canisters. And you can keep walls closed because it's ranked at the end of the day. Sometimes they just won't even get the breach. This makes me want to put like Smoke S tier if I'm going to do this though. Yeah, I think Smoke is really, really good still. I'm going to do that. I think Mute's probably above him, but for now I'll keep them both in S tier. That's crazy starting out with 2 S tier ops, but these guys have been so good for so long. Their longevity needs to be studied. Okay, Castle. I think Castle's good for SoloQ. You got like Proxes as well, or BP. I like Proxes in solo, but it's up to you. He has the secondary shotgun, super short. He loves that. His gun, obviously, that's like the weak point. And sometimes your teammates will just break your castles, or the castles could become like a hindrance to you. Since you're SoloQ, you can't really communicate with your team as well. It just depends really in the situation. I want to play castle every round, but you could always bring out like a good pocket strat. Maybe like once a match. But I don't think that gives him any more than like B tier then, because you can't play him every round like these two. So we can just like kind of go off that. If you can play them every single round of every game, like they can be S tier pretty much. Like you can play Mute and Smoke every single round of a whole ranked session if you needed to. You know, probably don't need to, but can if you want, I guess, if you're big fans. Pulse, I don't think Pulse is good at all in SoloQ. Sure, you can have like good info if you're close enough to people, but also you want your gun up. And SoloQ tends to get pretty wild, so it is ranked. I feel like you need more teamwork if you're playing Pulse. You do have a C4, but again, you're going to have to use your Pulse sensor, then you'll have your gun out. I don't like Pulse, really. I don't think I've ever played him one time in my SoloQ videos, and I seem to do just fine, so I'm going to put Pulse in the D tier. I'm sure there can be some good plays with him. I'm just not like a Pulse fan these days. I think the meta's outgrown him. And with a team, he is better, obviously. Like, he has to be up here. I already know I'm going to get like a Pulse fan in the comments mad at me now, but I'm sorry, biased tier list here. I'm trying not to be too biased. Again, like Mute, I don't play that much at all either, and I have him S tier, so like I just don't have any use for Pulse though. Like I would not play him that much, even if I really wanted to. Okay, Doc for solo queue. I want to put him S tier too. I just prefer Doc over like Smoke for solo queue because you have the ACOG and a better gun, like for long range fights too. Double the ammo almost on the gun as well. And the Bailiff does the job too, making like a rotate if you need it, some lines of sight. I love using Doc and solo queue. You got your barbed wire still. You can kind of like stay back, heal yourself. You can play selfish. You can heal the team and play unselfishly. Just so many possibilities really with Doc and solo. I think he's got to be like up here. I play him quite a bit, I'd say. He's probably like top 5 or 10 solo queue ops for me on defense. I don't know. Maybe as I go, though, I'll bring some operators down to A. We'll see. Because I know it does seem insane to have Doc in S tier. He's also really good in some power spots against stuff like Capitao Flame Bolts. Things like Garage Rafters. I really like him there. He's good for holding those power positions. And if you get downed, you can just stim up as well. Rook, I'm going to put in C tier. I could obviously have him even lower. I don't think he's the worst for solo queue because you're always going to get use out of his Rook armor packs. So he's never going to be like down here for me. If you're playing with like a team though, like I don't think Rook is useful at all. He's probably like F tier. Like part of me wants to put him in D tier right now, even we'll see. But he still at least has impacts, I think. Right? I haven't played Rook in forever either, so I don't even know. I'm kind of convincing myself for the D tier option. I'll leave him here for now. Because I don't think he's the absolute worst in solo queue. Like you can be a gunner with him, kind of like Doc. But Doc's like the better pick every time. Basically, if Doc isn't taken, like don't ever touch Rook. And Capkin's an interesting one. Who remembers like a couple of years ago, or even less maybe, when he had the 1.5 sight and impacts. I was running wild on Capcan during those times. That's like right when I got back into the game after a big break. And I was really loving Capcan then. For solo queue now, he still has a C4. His gun's fine. Doesn't have like an ACOG or anything, but he's actually used quite a bit in comp even too. Solo queue though, if it's not banned, a lot of people don't even check doors, especially on console. They always ban Capcan. So I think he's actually pretty good. I would put him in A tier. He's kind of like Frost. It works against really good players because they're trying to be so aggro. And if they don't check the door, then boom. As long as you place your Capkins well, like in the bottom corners and whatnot. I think Capkin's still probably good. He's going to be like bottom A tier. But if you wanted to put him in B tier, sure. Why not? Tachanka for solo queue. Here's our first F tier operator. I would not recommend because it's going to make you not have your gun up if you're using the launcher. And you want your gun up in solo queue, obviously. I think everybody can understand that one. So you don't want to do that. You're just going to get destroyed by everybody. Like, I don't think Tachanka's worth it. Smoke is so much better. Like S tier operator, you can just throw your gadget really fast. Even in general, Smoke is way better. Normally, Tachanka's probably like C tier or D tier, but I mean, you're just so bad with your thing out. People will just rush you. Like every time I see a Tachanka and they're like trying to shoot their flames at me, I just run through and kill them. You're completely defenseless at that point, unless you have like a full setup. But again, this is solo queue. There's only so much you're going to be able to do. I will say, you can actually get some uses of him in certain power spots because his gun is really good still. Like if you want to take him just for the gun, sure, I guess. That's going to be like his only use, but I just rather play other stuff with utility. Because this gun actually does have the ACOG, same one like Capcan has, but Capcan's ability is so much better than what you're getting from Tachanka. Again, if you want to put Tachanka like D tier, sure, why not? Just for the gun. Jaeger, I'm going to put in like C tier. I really don't think Jaeger's very good anymore. Like he's rarely played even at high levels. His gun is still alright. I actually like it, but doesn't have a ACOG or anything crazy, so it's like average. Fire rate's not insane. And his ability is pretty trash now. I would just take Wamai every time over him, or even like a Rooney in most instances. I think he's kind of like a Rooney more than Wamai even. But I don't know. I don't think Jaeger's very good. Jaeger also can make like rotates. He can make lines of sight with his main gun pretty well, actually. It's good for that, but it's just going to take longer. I think there's so much better picks always. His gadget's not going to give you much in solo. Also, he has no like barb or proxies or anything, so traps really help in SoloQ. You're going to see that as we go on. Traps and barbed wire, I should say. But moving on to Bandit, I think Bandit can actually be pretty useful sometimes. Still not the best, but if you want to like play, say, Skyscraper, you're on the T side and you want to roam the other side of the map, it's pretty good for that. Other strats like that, like, I mean, even the other side of Skyscraper, you can just play him in Bandit Trick the Off as well. He's good on Clubhouse, obviously. He can be on, he can be good on the Oregon like middle floor site for those little single walls you can trick. I do like him because of the barbed wire as well, and the MP7's really good. But he's not really better than B tier. I wouldn't take him every round, obviously. He's kind of like Castle. You can just play him like a pocket strat every now and then in SoloQ. Play off your barbed wire, have a good gun. Because if you can't get like a bandit trick off, like Clubhouse CC breach, then good chance you're going to win that round just off of that. So he can make some big plays. Frost, I'm going to put up in the A tier, I think. Probably like tops of A tier, maybe the best A tier op. Part of me wants to put her in S tier. But her traps can only do you so much. People are so adjusted these days, like at high levels, just to shoot when they jump into windows. But there are some other really good spots for them that aren't windows. And her gun is good, just the fire rate, not the best really, so it's not like a top tier gun. She does with a shield as well, or BP. She's probably like best A tier op though. I don't think I'd go her like every round, really, because she doesn't have like traps or info like I was saying. I mean, she has traps, obviously, the frost mats, but they don't work the same like as barbed wire or whatever. Like you can pretty much go around them unless they're in tight areas. I guess you can say the same thing about barbed wire too, but I don't know. I think barbed wire is better. You can't just shoot it a couple times and it's gone. I don't know though. Again, this list is pretty fluid. If you want to put Frost like S tier, I'm not gonna argue with you. Like that's fine. Just depends on like personal preference. But I don't play Frost all that much, even though I could play her more, and maybe I will this season. For Valkyrie, for SoloQ, I want to put her S tier so bad, but I just can't. She's gonna be like right there with Frost and Capcan, I think, because in SoloQ, if you're gonna be on your cams, it's so hard to do other things, and then your teammates also red ping on your cams when you're not on them. Like, I think she's good for getting like a pre-play C4 maybe on something. But I just don't know if you can rely on Valk every round in SoloQ. I would just take other stuff usually, but I have played Valk quite a bit on some maps, and she does work still. So I'm not going to argue with you again if you want to put her S tier, but again, just my tier list here for SoloQ. And I don't know. It's so hard to rank some of these like top ops. There's so many good ones on defense. Like if we were to look at my most played defenders from last season, like we did in the last video with attackers, then there'd be so many at the top. I play so many defenders a lot. And so many of these are like situational and interchangeable. Just depends on the situation you're in, really. That's what I'm trying to say there. Calf for SoloQ. I think I'd prefer her over Pulse any round, pretty much. Their guns are both very weak. Calves are really good up close, though. I love the shotgun and the pistol for up close. I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to put Cav for SoloQ. Remember, strictly for SoloQ in C tier. And this is just for me as well, because I play the shotgun. So I don't need to take the impacts, which makes it so I can take the procs alarms on her. So that kind of gives me like some info and traps, like I've been talking about, which I think would put her above Pulse. I know Pulse has like barbed wire too, but you can't really justify taking anything but the C4, I don't think. I mean, you can, but when you're not playing with a team, you kind of need the C4. I don't know. I kind of like the Cav, though, and so, like, you just the idea. Maybe that's too high, though. Maybe I'm crazy. Okay, Echo for SoloQ is really good. Again, though, with the cams, he's gonna be like right there with Valkyrie, maybe right above. He does have impacts like Valkyrie. I would take the Valkyrie C4 every time still. And he has the ACOG, which is kind of like what puts him ahead. His cams are obviously not as hidden, but they can move around. They can stop the plant at the end of the round, so it just has the win condition. I think Echo's really good in SoloQ still. I play him quite a bit, especially on Bank. I love him there. He's kind of like Zero. I'm an Echo Zero main on Bank. All about that info there. Yeah, on certain maps, Echo can be like S tier. Some maybe not even A tier, but I think that's a good ranking for him for SoloQ. Okay, Mirror for solo is interesting. She's obviously better with a team, but I think she's probably like B. I'm gonna put her like lower A tier. She's still like good enough to be up there, I think. Like if you take the mirror. If you're on high level, people won't like mess up your mirrors, I don't think. At least 80% of the time. So it is gonna be worth it. I miss doing that one strat too on Villa where you put it like in between the sites and can watch the default plant in the vault door. It's a really good mirror strat to do. Yeah, maybe I'll try to play like more ops this season for you guys. I do want to play more too. I actually got my SoloQ thing ready to go. I'm going to play on the PC pool to start the season at least and kind of feel it out. We'll see how that goes. I think I can get everything ready for it though, so video should be dropping soon. Okay, for Legion. Legion's definitely like top of S tier for SoloQ. You get info everywhere with those goo mines. Just place them like kind of right inside the doorway where they're not revealed to the door. And they work so well. So well. They can pretty much only get rid of them with like Ash Chargers and Ophias, like inside the door, or like a Twitch drone. Brava can't even hack them, so I don't know, man. I think Legion's like the best SoloQ out probably. Like every round you can play them. Now that I'm thinking about this too, just because it's my list, like I was saying, there's going to be some bias. I'm going to put Smoke and Doc above Mute. Probably like, no, that's crazy putting Doc up there. I'm going to leave Doc there at the bottom S tier. Because I think my bias is already putting him up to like a tier or two. But I think this is good for this. I'd prefer Smoke in like most situations over Mute. I just feel more flexible. And again, no traps really on Mute. That's the one issue. But you do have the shotgun loadout still. So, okay, Ella. Ella normally would not be the best. She's very situational. But she is good for some spots still. And I think in SoloQ she's even better. I would put her like tops B tier. I'd rather go her over Bandit and Castle. Like every time pretty much. Just because she has 5 traps if you use the barbed wire on her. So you have 2 barbs and you have 3 concussions. Like that's so much info you get right there. And if you can use her gun, like practice with it, then it's super, super good still. Even for like medium to long range fights. As long as you hit like your first shots in the head. But yeah, this is my tier list like I've been saying the whole time. So, and I like her gun, so that's B tier for me. Like, would I be crazy to put her like lower A tier? Absolutely, but yeah, I won't be doing that. But I definitely could if I wanted to. My tier list. You know, if I wanted to, I could throw Chonka up here in S tier. No one's stopping me. Okay, Vigil. Vigil's gotta be like A tier. Probably like kind of with Capcan, I'd say. I don't take Vigil all that much. I'm not like a Boss G crush like some people. Like, have you guys ever seen me play the Boss G 1 round on video? The answer would be no. But yeah, I think that's a good spot. Kind of right there in like the 4th slot. I know my duo really likes the Boss G though. It kills me with that thing all the time, like on the streams we've been doing. Ridiculous. Hate that gun. Yeah, as I was saying though, Vigil is really good for delaying time still. I've been wanting to try like a cafe strat. I forget if I tried it in video. I think I tried to, and then there was like a shield against me or something, but yeah, he's really good. That's the BP too if you don't need the impacts. And of course, I love my SMG-12. Okay, Maestro. For SoloQ, he's probably not the play just because, again, the cams. That's why have Valkyrie and A tier only, even behind Echo. I know normally Echo would probably only be like B tier, and then Val could be S tier. Like again, this is just solo queue, and my personal preference pretty much. But Maestro is just so slow, man. The cams can get hacked by Brava so easily. They're stationary. They can get punched even, so you have to open them up and see. I don't know, man. I don't think Maestro's really the best. I haven't played Maestro in ages either. Like, I really need to put him in D tier, probably. Like, I don't know if I can do that, though. I know I'm going to get some hate for the Pulse and Tachanka, but I just don't think Maestro's the play for solo queue. Alibi can also be down here. Like, normally she for sure is, no doubt. But she's kind of like a weaker Frost if you think about it, but her gun is way better than Frost, at least for me. I'm not going to put her in A tier, don't worry. I'll probably put her like kind of here. She does the same thing as like a Frost or an Ella, like the traps. You can put all three of the holograms on like different windows. If you set them right, they have to like jump into the window and they will be hit by it, so detected. Or they'll have to use like a grenade to clear it out or whatever. As long as it's not windows they could rappel on, of course. But yeah, I think that's pretty good. Her gun is crazy, like I said, one of my favorites in the entire game. That gun hits. If you haven't tried it, like I would recommend. Unfortunately, she's not the best utility-wise. She does have proxies though, so that's why she's like kind of going up in my rankings here for solo queue. You can kind of play off the proxies and the holograms really good. And again, solo queue is about gunning a lot, so that helps a ton with the gunning aspect. Also, probably the main reason I have Echo slightly ahead of Valk. Like the MP5 with the silencer ACOG compared to the P shooter Valk has. I do like the MPX for headshots, but you don't hit the head, you're dead. That's the good old saying. Okay, Clash for solo queue. Please never go Clash. Like, you need a gun, man. I know Clash can actually be really effective. You have the right team and setup. Like an Oregon blue, like bunker. She's really good for holding that, but I don't know, man. I'd rather have Tachanka than Clash in solo queue. You've never seen me play Clash either. That's pretty much the end of the story there. I know she has Barb too, but you're so loud too, like stomping around with the shield. Like, you're getting no use out of it in solo queue, really. At least like minimal compared to some of these other ops. Kind of got to run around and frag, and that's the opposite of what you're doing on Clash. Okay, Cade. Cade, I actually love the TCSG on. I've really been liking it with the suppressor recently, weirdly enough. It does stick around corners, but you can have barbed wire on Cade. I like kind of going him on that layer basement site. You can hold the single wall and have the barb next to it and kind of like trick those together with a Cade. I think Cade's really good still for solo queue. You can really Cade trick well too in ranked. Just people don't like playing Thatcher. I'm going to put him above Mirror. Capcan, Vigil. Probably not up there, really. I'm going to put him above Mirror. Again, Mirror is like really site and map dependent. I think she's so like meta changing though still if you do take her. Makes it way harder for the other team unless they have like an Ashe or Callie. Okay, Mozzie. Mozzie's pretty useless most of the time. I have tried making him work with the impacts, but still not my favorite pick, really. I'll put him like top of C tier. Like, there's so many other ops that can do Mozzie's job better. Like, just go Valk. And you're just getting more use out of your cams. You know you're going to get them. I'm going to put him B tier, actually. Bottom B tier. I think that's more fair. Like, I think I'd rather go him than Jaeger. But Castle's for sure better. Okay, Warden. Warden's got to be like S tier. Only op that can't be stunned and yinged immediately. Obviously, like, if you're not counting Jaeger, what am I? I'm going to put him up here with Legion. I do want to put him like here, somewhere in here. I'm going to put him here just because I like the SMG-12 so much. And again, Liz is a little bit biased. So I think this is a good spot for him. Really good op for holding power spots, kind of like Doc, since you just can't get flashed. And you also have a shield to play behind, so that's another big thing. Or nitro if you want that for a certain site. All right, moving on to Goyo. I think Goyo's going to go like top of A tier. Kind of like right there with Frost and Echo, that kind of range. I think he's really good just because his gun. His gun's probably the best on defense right now. Having the ACOG with the fire rate that thing has. As long as you can control, it's so good. Like, it has some kick on it, but man, it just pulled out and that thing's a beam for headshots. I love using Goyo's gun for stuff like that. I just get like run around on border and get crazy with it. So I've been doing a lot with it recently. Also, the fires help a lot for like rushes and stuff in ranked. You can hold down like certain spots like bank. He's really good in the basement. Really delays a lot of the time. Like Goyo's even played quite a good bit in comp and whatnot. So I think that's a good spot for him. Well, my in SoloQ, I think he's better with a team. I'm still going to put him top of B tier, but I don't really think that's the meta right now. I think if you don't want to get like stunned or whatever, just go Warden at the end of the day. And you can do a lot more with him. Well, my can't really make a setup if you want the proxies, which I do like the proxies on my. Otherwise, you still have the impacts, I guess, but his guns are just lacking right now. His MP5 is a headshot machine for sure, but like no ACOG. I just think there's other better ops. Like if you want to put him A tier though, that's fine with me. I still think Wamai is good. Again, he's like way better than Jaeger right now. Part of me wants to put him like, yeah, I'm gonna do this for SoloQ. I think Mir is only like B tier just because of like if you go certain sites you can't play Mir like almost every time. And if a strat doesn't work, like you can't really just keep running it back in SoloQ. I've been saying that you got to get more aggressive and like run and gun style a lot of the time. And like just sitting behind a mirror is not going to get it done if your whole team's dying around you. Because you're not really holding the best spots. You can do like certain roam mirrors and do that, but if they don't push your mirrors, you're kind of useless. She's just so much better with a team. I think Wamai's better for like SoloQ because you do get the impact still. You don't have to take proxies, but I don't know, man. Part of me wants to put him in B tier still. That's a hard one. I just haven't really been playing too much Wamai since they removed the ACOG. I just feel like there's more better options for fragging. Wamai is still good for holding like certain power spots, so like Villa main stairs, Clubhouse Raptors I mentioned a couple times. On to the next one, the Oryx. For SoloQ, like, I don't think he's the greatest. I'm going to put him down here with Pulse. I know there are some good strats with him and stuff, and he has the Bailiff and Proxes and Barbed Wire, I think. He has both. But I just think there's better util ops you can take. Just going to be more valuable for the round in total. So I don't think you're getting enough out of Oryx. Kind of want to put him C, but it's whatever. Pulse needed some company down here. Okay, Melusi for SoloQ, going to go right up tier to S tier. Again, this is very biased probably just for me, because I'm a Melusi main. I know for sure before I even look at the stats that I am. But she's so good for SoloQ. You can lock down 4 different spots with your Banshees, and those will give you sound. They slow the enemies down. They're so good, man, for stopping that. I wish her gun still had the ACOG, but even without, her gun's still really good at shreds. It's kind of like Wamai MP5K. You just got to think of it as Doc's gun without the ACOG, so it's still good. And it has no recoil too, so you can just slap the horizontal grip on there. I mean, even if you want to slap the extended barrel on there, at least on console, the thing has no kick. A Rooney for SoloQ, kind of like too slow again, like Mira. But she has some good setups for sure. She's not played all that much really now. You can get good use out of her still. I think like tops of B tier. Probably up here with Mira. This looks a little crazy having Ella this high, but again, for SoloQ, I think she deserves it. And I'm actually going to put her above Mira. Follow me in the comments all you want, but I'd rather go Ella any round over Mira. I mean, over a Rooney too. You can look back in my videos. I've made Ella work like every time I play her pretty much. There's some really good setups for Ella. And I could play her more if I wanted to, but I mean, there's these top ops that I play a lot more. Thunderbird's actually better now too. Might be crazy. I'm putting her above like some of these ops, but I think she's better than Rook. Like Thunderbird has the Finka AR gun, which is pretty good. No ACOG, of course, but still. And then her Kona stations actually give you health over time now as well throughout the end of the round. So you can get back to like full HP if you take a fight in the first minute, for example, and lose quite a bit of health. And they still give you like the normal 20. So if you have like a triple stack, you're going to get back to full HP instantly. Also, I was saying your AR is good, but my favorite loadout for Thunderbird is the bearing secondary, and kind of use that as your primary for long range fights. Think like SMG-12. And then you have the shotgun, the same one Cav has, but Thunderbird has better util, of course. You know, I've convinced myself to put Thunderbird above Jaeger now. This might also be crazy, but we're getting wild on this tier list. I don't even care. Thorn kind of just behind on the trap ops compared to the rest. I'm going to put her in C tier as well. I have been trying to make her work on like that console top floor site, but I think Ella just is better in most aspects. Because you get the I think Ella's gun is way better than Thorn's right now. Just for like headshots especially. You get the barbwire and the trap still. That's kind of like how they even out. But yeah, I think Ella's the better version, so I wouldn't really take Thorn too much. And Thorn's trap also takes 10 years to go off, so nobody really dies to it anyway. If they do, though, occasionally, it is funny. So bonus points for that. I'll actually put Jaeger in front of her. Sorry for any Thorn fans out there. Azami, she's got to be like S tier. There's so many defenders that are S tier. I feel like I had the same problem last time I made a tier list. But like, it's just defender central, man. There's so many good defenders, and I'm probably being generous to some of these A tier ones. Obviously I'm a Lucy too. Very biased for her. Azami's probably like here. She has barbed wire too, so she does have the traps down. I know I don't play her all that much. Like I really want to. I just don't like the gun, but the gun is still fine. Nothing wrong with it. You can make so many plays with the barriers though. I don't find playing her that much fun. I don't know why. Just like a personal thing, but I can't ignore how she's that good still. Like she's like a one woman army in SoloQ. I'll put her above Warden just for the util aspect, but it's a close one. You gotta put her like middle 8 or S tier, sure. Maybe Doc shouldn't even belong in S tier, but hey, we're here now. Solus, kind of terrible now in most ways. I don't know if I could put her D tier though. She's probably like better than Cav, right? I put Solus like here. I keep seeing one op and I'm like, okay, she's definitely better than that op. But I don't know. I'm gonna put it, this is SoloQ, remember? Just clarifying that. I'm gonna put her above Jaeger because of this. Because Solus does have the option to bring the shotgun SMG-11 combo. Hence like smoke. So I think she's gotta be better than Jaeger, because Jaeger can't set anything up. Or Thorn. And she's just flat out better than like Rook. So I think this is a good spot for her. Maybe too low still. She could be like bottom B, but I don't know if Solus is the best these days, really. She's probably like as good or even better in SoloQ than normal, even though. I don't know though. I haven't played her in forever now since her nerf. Fenrir, another S tier up, I would have to say. I really want to put him S tier. I mean, I kind of have to. What I'm going to do is move Doc down to tops of A tier. Like, I think you can go Doc nearly every round and get away with it, but Fenrir is better. You don't have the barb anymore, but you have a BP. You still have the 4 traps, and you can actually turn 2 on at once, even if they get shot. So if 2 get shot, you can still have 2 on. So I think Fenrir has to be like S tier. I would play him more in SoloQ. Usually I just don't have him on the account. This season I'll definitely make sure to like buy ops before this and play some more Fenrir. I'll put him above like Mute just for me. Like, it's personally better than Mute. Okay, Two-Brow and SoloQ. I don't know if Two-Brow is the play. He's still fine, obviously. You can slow people down with the traps. You can maybe help a Bandit or a Cade in SoloQ with a wall, but not really going to be able to rely on that consistently. So, like, I think he's probably, like, bottom B tier. I don't know, man. In SoloQ, it's so much different than playing with a team. Like, if you're playing with a team, you can do a Cade, Two-Brow defense, and they can both be, like, tops S tier for that round. But just for SoloQ, what I say always in my videos, never rely on your teammates. We're not going to base it off of that in this. And, like, I haven't played Two-Brow pretty much ever in my SoloQ videos, so haven't needed to. Scopos. Scopos is actually interesting. You can bring proxies on Scopos, which is nice in SoloQ. Kind of get some more info to play off of. And there's some different ways you can use them. I've really been liking them in this last season on Coastline on the top floor. I like flanking the people on billiards that try to go for that plant. I'm going to put him B tier. Maybe above a Rooney. I keep saying him, but I think it is a her. The two robots. But yeah, I think she's there. I don't know. Still got to play her more. I've only played her in like a couple sites total, so we'll see as we go for SoloQ. Sentry. I don't think Sentry's the best in solo, but now that I see this too. Okay, Sentry's actually ahead of these people. He's not the best, but he is ahead just because he can always bring like bar proxies or like barb in the C4 trap. And he has a shotgun for rotates and stuff. He's not as good as striker on attack. I hit him in S tier, actually, but I'm going to put him like kind of like that Mira Rooney range, I think. Just like an average operator, middle of the road. Yeah, I was going to say that now I'm seeing it. Just for SoloQ, Maestro is not going to be very good, I don't think. You can make him work. I'm not saying you can't, but just for a round-around basis, I would never really go Maestro. Unless I'm trying like a super innovative strat or something. I know he's good on like those certain sites. He's going like consulate, basement, cafe, first floor. I don't know though. Since I did that too, I'm going to put Cav down here. I still like the possibility of Cav in SoloQ, but if you're playing like super good players, they're going to have flank drones and stuff, and I don't think you can really take advantage of the ability like some of these other ops from round to round, so just going to be fair with that and put her there. I do like how this turned out, though. I think this is pretty balanced. Again, there are a couple things here and there you can switch, and I wouldn't be mad with it. This is all personal preference at the end of the day. So yeah, I think that's my Defenders tier list done. Just tell me in the comments what you would change up with this list. I know everybody else is going to have different opinions, and that's the whole point of these tier lists, though. That's why it's so interesting to see. But yeah, this is, I think, how my tier list for SoloQ would be. Interesting to see how like these two tier lists I've done would compare to like next seasons or something. Maybe I should like sometime go back and look at my last tier list and see like where they've grown from. I think I've done like a tier list for SoloQ specifically before. It might have been like a while back now, but that'll be interesting. If you did enjoy this though, leave a like down there below. I might try for like a double upload today as well. The last SoloQ game of last season. I'm going to try to put like in a video here so you can see that one too. But yeah, if you did enjoy, leave a like down there below. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.